That's my hit list. The 3 fights this year: the Eubank, Barrios, or any of the world title holders.
Hi all, Los D Punch Out TV. Hope you're well out there. Late but still great. There's not really been much happening in boxing. There's been no bell ends this month. The only bell end of the month I can think of is Conor Benn. So welcome back to another episode of CRIMEWATCH UK. Like I say, late but still great. Don't take this to heart, people. This is just banter. We have a laugh doing this. This is just a laugh, this series. But yeah, welcome back to another episode of CRIMEWATCH UK. The only bell end who can put up on the board today is none other than the man himself, Conor Hen, Mr. Eggtastic. This bell end disappeared for months. Then all of a sudden, bang, he's back, predicting he's got big fights coming. But let's just rewind it back a little bit to the start of this. This guy popped twice. He was due to fight Chris Eubanks. He popped dirty, and then we got let to know a few weeks later that he had popped dirty couple of months before. Can't remember the dates. I think one was June, and one was September. I think his fight was scheduled in October, so he popped twice dirty. Anyway, he's always insisted that he was innocent, that he'd never done it, didn't know how it got in his system. Then the WBC come out, took him out of the rankings. A couple of weeks later, he's back in the rankings. They said it could have been contamination through eggs. Then he goes on Piers Morgan's show. Piers Morgan asked him about, was it contamination through eggs? He says he doesn't even eat eggs. So when I watched the interview with Piers Morgan, it made him look even more desperate than what he is now. But he's gone away. He had 2 fights in America with Pistola Pete and some Mexican with a bad hairdo. So we all know this. But he's insisting that he's fighting. Everyone's a bum. He's been back and two with Devon Haney over social media. He wanted to try and boil Gervonta Davis up to 147, but wasn't willing to go down and fight him at 140. Bring Tank up £5 and he go down £7. The man's arrogance is on another level. He makes out he's some kind of killer, like he's been knocking out world champions left, right, and centre. He's never won a title in his life. He's miles and light years away from a world championship. You can quite see that this kid was juicing, because when he's had them 2 fights at 154, he's done nothing. No power there whatsoever. Then last week, the week before, he mocks Errol Spence. He mocks Bud Crawford and Virgil Ortiz, saying they've done nothing at 154, and because they've moved up, they've lost the power. That's why he didn't have any power there at 154, so he's staying at 147. Then he's tweeting WBA, IBF, WBC, WBO, don't matter. He's a world champion this year. He'll win a belt this year. Then he makes a hit list coming out, which you've seen at the start, of who he wants. But no talk of Jerome Boots Ennis. Yeah, on social media, about 8-9 months ago, you kept saying that you wanted Jerome Boots Ennis. Well, Eddie Hearn now signs Jerome Boots Ennis. Jerome Boots Ennis is the IBF champion. Jerome Boots Ennis is in the same division as you. Why are you swerving him? Why no mention of Jerome Boots Ennis' name ever since Eddie Hearn signed him? I'll tell you why. 'Cause you're a fantasies, mate. You're just like John Fury, you're a fantasies. You're full of shit. You've never beaten anyone with a credible name. All your best win is Sebastian Formella. You went and dug up Chris Algieri, who went life and death with a B-level British fighter, Tommy Coyle. You dug up Chris Van Erden, or should I say Chris Van Binman, not been in the ring for 3 years, pushing nearly 40 years old. You've got this deluded fantasy in your head. You remind me very much of John Fury. You've got this deluded fantasy in your head that you're this killer, that you're an elite welterweight or an elite super welterweight. You've never won a world title. You've never been in with anyone who's even like elite level. Yes, you've beaten an ex-world champion, but an ex-world champion who was shot to smithereens. You put on all these posts on Twitter that you're coming for all these people. You name all these people, yet you don't do nothing. You're banned over here in the UK. You know that. You've come with 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different stories. Yeah, I'm free to fight. I've got the evidence. You've never proved anything. That's why you've never gone to the board. What happened to this 270-page dossier what you had, or whatever it was? What happened to that? Still not been presented to the British Boxing Board of Control. Your arrogance is on another level. You're a drugs cheat until proven innocent. And you know it, and I know it. But you think because you're the son of a legend that you have the God-given right to do what you want and don't have to produce this evidence, or you don't have to go in front of the board. You're a mediocre welterweight. You've never even been tested at British level. You won a WBA trinket belt, whatever it was, Intercontinental, and that's the only thing you've won. Now, I'm not knocking you for that, but what I'm trying to say is you've had 20-odd fights with 20-odd mediocre fighters, not even B-class fighters. You're talking about you want all the smoke and stuff like this, that you'd knock Devin Haney out, you'd knock Tank out, you'd knock Terence Crawford out, you'd knock Virgil Ortiz out. You come out and said if you fought Terence Crawford, that you'd still be walking to your corner after round 12. And Virgil Ortiz, you're off your fucking rocker, mate. Honestly, you're off your rocker. You're just a bellend who sits on social media talking shit and typing shit. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with bigging yourself up. There's nothing wrong with believing in yourself. But I want to see this evidence. What you said you've got. I want to see the B samples. Where is it? Even Eddie Hearn doesn't speak about you no more. Are you serving a silent ban? Possibly. That's why all of a sudden now you're making big moves. You're saying world titles next year and stuff like that. You're going to be fighting soon in the UK. And have you served a ban? But for me, if you have, you're a coward. Because you haven't got the guts to come out and say, do you know what? Yeah, I did cheat. Or it was accidental. I can go with stuff like that. If you did take something and it was contaminated, I can go with that. As long as you hold your hands up and serve your ban. Don't mean I like you, but it doesn't mean I don't like you. I respect you for it, for your honesty. But you'll never do that. Because you're that arrogant and you're that full of shit that you think that you're above the law and that you don't have to do stuff like that just because of who your father is. You're nothing like your father as a fighter. Nothing. You're a coward who's been juicing. And you're still talking about Eubanks. Eubanks is a fucking clown. Ain't no one interested in that fight anymore. You're as bad, every bit as bad as Chris Eubank. You talk shit, say you want all these fights, and then you never do anything. You end up going fighting Benn men. So until I see the evidence or the proof that you're innocent, you'll always be a drugs cheat to me, and that's why I'll always rip you. And I'm only ripping you because you've been very quiet for a long, long time, but all of a sudden you're busting moves now. You're not busting no moves in this UK because you ain't got a fucking boxing licence to fight over here. And I had to give you a bit of advice. Stay the fuck away from Virgil Ortiz. Stay the fuck away from Terence Crawford. Stay away from Jerome Boutsanis. Even Kavaliakis would piece you up. You wouldn't stand a chance with Jerome Boutsanis. You'd be on your back after a few rounds. You'd be on your back after a few rounds with Virgil Ortiz. Go and produce the evidence. Go and serve your ban, or if you've served the silent ban, come back, hold your hands up, and start making moves. I'll get behind you, but until then I won't, because you're a drugs cheat, and you're a fantasy deluded man who thinks that you live on cuckoo land, that you've been this big killer for years. You haven't killed anyone. You haven't done anything. You haven't done anything, and I have to tell you how it is. So stop all the bullshit tweets and all the fucking Instagram posts and all that, and you're coming for this and coming for that. Try and beg for fights, because a lot of the public have turned their back on you. So this week, the bell end up on the board is one and only Conor Hen. The absolute clout chaser who just talks shit. Can't do fuck all. Now he's got no power, but we'll see. So the bell end on the board this month has to go to the one and only Conor Hen. Hope you enjoy it, and as my brother from another mother used to say, tell him, Nick, tell him.
In the meantime, don't have nightmares, do please sleep well. Good night.
Good night.